And now for today's webinar. This session today, in our session today, Learn It, Share It, using a variety of tools for sharing best practices across continents. Our presenter will discuss the implications of information sharing on teacher professional development and educational sustainability measures. Utilizing specific examples of teacher sharing in the global playing field, our presenter will feature great resources submitted by you, members of our webinar audience, and show specific ways new and current teachers can begin sharing their own knowledge and expertise with local and global audiences. Our presenter today is Ryan Brooks. Ryan received his master's in TESOL from CUNY Hunter College in New York, New York. Since 2003, Ryan has taught ESL, EFL in Thailand, South Korea, the Czech Republic, New York City, Seattle, Washington, and recently served as an English language fellow in Tarapoto, Peru from 2012 to 2014. His interests in the English as a foreign language field include teacher training, language contextualization, and project-based learning. Currently, Ryan is the Director of Teacher Training for ELS Tefl certification based in Boston, Massachusetts. So welcome, Ryan. We're so excited to have you here today and to see all of the great stuff you have for us.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Katie. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. I want to once again welcome you to today's American English webinar as part of our October series focusing on professional development. Today, we'll be talking about sharing as a tool for professional development. And I suspect amongst this group of esteemed professionals, it will generate a lot of exciting discussion. Throughout the presentation, there will be many opportunities for you to add to the discussion. Please take the opportunity to share your ideas by typing your responses in the text box on the left of your screen and/or responding to the different poll questions that will be asked throughout the presentation. Throughout the presentation, I will try to monitor these responses as best as I am able. So, my name is Ryan Brooks. So excited to be with you in this global community of learning. Having been in the field of ESL and EFL for the last 15 years, I can tell you, I'm still learning new things each and every day. In response, when I learn something new or see an effective teaching practice, I always try to find an opportunity to share it with another colleague or friend. Hence, it has become my mantra: learn it and share it. As you view this webinar, I hope you too will be encouraged to do the same, and we'll share some of these ideas on our Ning discussion board following the presentation. So, objectives for this webinar are as follows: to appreciate the value of learning and sharing information as a tool for professional development. Our second objective is to describe some of the many benefits, and yes, there are many, of sharing information. And then, very exciting, we will view some global examples of ways other educational institutions are sharing information. To begin our conversation, let's take a minute to think about some places where you have learned new information that has informed or improved your teaching practice. Feel free to contribute your ideas by typing in the text box to the left. Wow, look at all of the places you are finding information. I can't keep up. Looks like we got some libraries, we have webinars, Google. Oh my gosh, this is great, guys. Social networking, colleagues. Excellent, I love this. So as I was brainstorming earlier about ways that I have acquired new information, here are some of the places where I identified. So first of all, my schooling, of course. And this could also be in the pre-service institutes that train us to become teachers. Certificate programs. You know, if you participated in a Tefl or a TESOL certificate program, yes, you're going to get a lot of information from that. Professional development, in-service workshops, conferences, commercial materials, books, online resources, and also from others in the field. I hope that you too have gotten information from others. Understanding that we are constantly learning from others, I want to turn this around and ask if any of you have been sharers of information. Take the time now to answer the following poll question. Within the last month, have you shared knowledge in a professional context? In other words, have you shared ideas and information in effective or best practices with another colleague or group of colleagues? Fantastic. Already we're seeing about 90% of you have shared. And for those 10% of you who have not, I hope today's webinar will show you the many benefits of sharing, and I hope that you will. Indeed, as I hope you're thinking about it, we are always, as educators, learning. This is part of our job. But many times, we are also in a position to share our knowledge with others. As teachers, we should understand that sharing is our professional responsibility. And I particularly like this quote, which I think expresses this point clearly. Life is about getting and sharing. The more you share, the more you get. And the more you get, the more your sharing responsibility multiplies. As you think about your responsibility to share, let us also look at a few of the many benefits of sharing with others. Here's a really nice proverb to think about. In teaching others, we teach ourselves. Realize that when you share something, even if it was just with one colleague, you are teaching. And when you are teaching others, you are also learning things, but in a deeper and more meaningful way. Take a look at this diagram, and you will see the research to back this up. At the bottom of the pyramid, you will see that in teaching and sharing knowledge with others, you retain and remember about 90% of the information that you have shared. Compare that with listening to a lecture up top, and you will see just how important sharing information is in your own learning. So of course, one of the great benefits in sharing with others, yes, our memory is reinforced. Oftentimes, when you share information with others, it may lead to some questions that you had never thought about before. Please note, these questions are fantastic. Questions allow us to see things from different perspectives. They help us to deepen our understanding of the topic. Questions can help us begin to explore things that we hadn't ever considered before, leading us to come up with possibly even more effective solutions. In sharing ideas, you also gain valuable experience articulating your ideas and thoughts. While you may be nervous at the beginning, start small. Talk to a colleague or two, and then work your way up to larger audiences. In sharing more regularly, you will feel more confident in your knowledge, and your communication skills will improve with this confidence. Another benefit of sharing, it opens the doors for others to share. If people see you sharing, it might make them more confident to share an idea or thought with the group. And when many ideas are present, rich discussions can result, leading to innovative problem solving and a better awareness for how to confront different issues that come up. When you share, realize you become a leader. And when you lead, others are likely to follow that lead, to be inspired and challenged. And when you have a team that is with you and open to those new ideas, this is truly when positive change can happen. So we often hear about sustainability when we talk about the environment, but we can also talk about sustainability when we talk about education. Sustainability simply means that something will continue to exist. The good work that you are doing in your universities and schools, yes, we want that to continue, but it can only continue and sustain if we are sharing information with a new generation of teachers. This is why it is particularly important that we are sharing best practices with students in pre-service programs in the universities and pedagogical institutions around the globe. These are the future teachers who will ensure that good educational practices continue into the future. On this note of sustainability, let us pretend for a moment you share information with 3 people, and those 3 people share with another 3 people. As you can see from this diagram, that's 12 people who have acquired new information from just you. Now, let's think bigger, shall we? What if you shared this information with just 20 people, and then those teachers shared information with another 20? We're going to throw up a poll for all you mathematicians out there. How many people have now gotten the information? Recall the question. You have shared the information with 20 teachers, and then they share that information with another 20. So if you can believe it, the answer is actually 420. Isn't it amazing? And now we get to the exciting part of this webinar. I'm thrilled sharing what you have been doing in the field. Over the course of the last 2 months, we asked you to share with us some best practices that you have been doing in your schools. And wow, did you ever respond? We received submissions from all over the world, from Asia to Africa to Europe to South America, and it is an absolute pleasure to showcase the 12 submissions that were selected for this webinar. I want to take this opportunity to thank you. For without your enthusiasm, we wouldn't have had nearly the amount of diversity in ideas. As we go through, identify some of the activities that might work for you in your professional setting. Think about it. How could they be adapted? Take some notes, ask questions, and most importantly, share some of the things you are doing here in this forum, but also on our Ning discussion board. With that said, shall we get started? We'll start our sharing journey in Uruguay at the Alianza Binational Center. I want to take this opportunity to thank the folks at Alianza for putting together and submitting the first abstract, which served as our overall exemplar. Headquartered in Montevideo, Uruguay, Alianza is a 75-year-old nonprofit organization with 40 branches, serving almost 10,000 students across the country. The mission of the school is to encourage goodwill and understanding between Uruguay and the United States through educational and cultural activities. Offering a range of programming, including online courses, Alianza is committed at every level of the organization to utilize technology to support excellence in teaching. As teacher and program coordinator Elena notes, technology is not our master, but our tool. We use it to communicate, inform, teach, reach out, and learn. One of the more innovative uses of technology, the school, in partnership with the public education system, teaches English remotely to elementary school-age children. The Alianza teacher here that you see in the picture to your left co-teaches virtually with public school teachers during an actual English class to offer new and innovative instructional practices. Isn't that cool? The school also houses an audiovisual production studio. Yes, can you see it? They have their own green room. It offers staff, students, and visitors a chance to utilize the latest video and sound equipment in order to record class skits, educational podcasts, informational videos, interviews, theater spots, and more. These videos are then archived on the school's YouTube channel, which now has been viewed, can you believe it, 152,000 times. Wow. So folks, I realize everyone doesn't have a fancy green room at their disposal, but returning back to how we adapt ideas, you certainly can create videos from your phone and post them on your own YouTube channel. And while you may not have access to technology to do remote teaching, why not partner with another teacher and show best practices through co-teaching? See how easy it is to adapt? So in your chat box, and I know that you have been communicating throughout this, can you think of other ways that you could adapt these ideas into your own practice? Yes, Saida, yes, you have agreed here that partnering with a co-teacher to show best practices, yes. We've seen co-teaching is a big one. Fantastic. So we now go to the other side of the world, to Asia. Universitas Negeri Makassar is a public university located in eastern Indonesia, specializing in educating pre-service and in-service teachers of English as a foreign language. This 54-year-old university consists of several faculties and departments. In the English Education Study program, there is an emphasis placed on sharing, creating, adapting, and modifying tools for use in the classroom. Teacher Rizky Israini Esnoor uses a variety of internet-based activities for English language teaching and learning. Among one of the more interesting and unique platforms used is Club Kui Chat Messenger, an online messaging system that allows students to interact communicatively with others through avatars that they create themselves. How neat! The teacher also finds opportunities for students to interact and collaborate directly outside of the classroom, utilizing project-based learning to support content learning. So by show of hands, by clicking on the hand, I'd like you to raise your hand if you have used project-based learning in your classroom. Wow, fantastic. Look at all the hands. See, look at all of the great things that you're doing right now. This is fantastic. Let's go to Europe. Secondary school number 4 of Soligorsk is a state-run educational institution located in Soligorsk, Belarus. The school serves about 670 students ages 6 to 17. In 2012, teacher Vola Krulova, a veteran teacher with over 21 years of experience, took part in the e-teacher scholarship program, Building Teaching Skills Through the Interactive Web, a program in partnership with the University of Oregon. Having learned more about Web 2.0 tools and effective teaching techniques, teacher Vola began to incorporate more technology into her lessons. One project students took part in was an international internet project through ePals. ePals is the leading provider of safe, collaborative technology for schools to connect and learn in a protected, project-based learning network. During a 5-week period, students exchanged email messages with students of their age from the USA on different topics, such as school life, hobbies, daily life, and they also communicated with their American peers in forums and shared with the ePals community some of the Belarusian traditions their holiday celebrations, talking about national foods. We're going to go back to the chat box. So these participants used email to connect with students around the world. How else could you connect students to international counterparts? So we do have Tatiana from Kazakhstan has used ePals. Facebook, absolutely. Webinars, video meetings, incredible. Google Plus, Skype, Twitter, WhatsApp. This is just amazing. So we're heading back to South America. And we turn our attention to a second submission from Uruguay. Secondary school number 2, Andres Martinez Trueba, is a state-run school. A staff of 88 teachers provides 750 students in the first, second, and third grades with English education. In addition, the school provides teacher training opportunities to current and future educators in the community and surrounding province. Secondary school number 2 utilizes a thematic unit approach. In one thematic unit called the Organic Orchard, students learn English through the context of community gardening. The unit integrates language with the other content areas like physics, math, art, geography, and biology. Keynote speakers, such as agronomists and others from the community, are also brought in to share their experiences. During the unit, students are brought to a nearby community garden, where they then apply their knowledge and learn the values of cooperation, equality, and hard work. Since its inception, over 1,600 students have visited and volunteered their time at the garden. As English teacher Sunny Bracco beautifully notes, this kind of experience enlightens children and provides them with knowledge and love for the soil and the miracle of life that is hidden in every seed. Beautifully said. Continuing our journey, the American Education Center, known as AEC, is an English school located in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Classes at AEC cover all proficiency levels, from beginners to advanced learners, from school children to executives. The school's aim is to help students become proficient in the English language through a blended learning approach, combining technology with classroom teaching to create a winning learning experience. Recently, teacher Kim Tang Tai and another colleague assigned a speaking activity, allowing students, yes, students, to choose their own topic. To the teacher's amazement, students chose to discuss marriage equality. Guiding the students in the preparation of the presentation, the teachers noted students' excitement in talking about the topic, their meticulous preparation, and high level of confidence. The big takeaway here is the activity demonstrates the many, many, many benefits of student choice in learning activities. A small word of caution here as you consider doing this with your classes. If you do elect to have students choose their own topics, which is a great idea, be sure that these topics are both appropriate for the school and community context. Teachers should be aware of the sensitivity of topics, particularly in the areas of politics and religion, and be prepared to help guide the conversation activity in appropriate ways. So let's go back to the chat box, everybody. What other topics do you think your students would be interested in when doing learning activities or projects in the classroom? What kinds of topics do you think that they would like to study? We have sports, technology, pop songs, woohoo! Gender equality, nice, ecology. Look at all of this. Oh my gosh, this is so fun to see. Festivals, I'm seeing. Sports, games, social networking, fashion, American holidays, movies. Woo! Keep it coming. And definitely, not all of you are catching everything on the chat box, but should be inspiration for you to contribute to the Ning discussion board. Please, please, please do that. We now head to Bolivia. Centro Boliviano Americano is a 69-year-old English institution recognized for its excellence in teaching. With 3 branches strategically located throughout the city of La Paz, the school serves over 6,000 students, many of whom are able to take advantage of reduced tuition. Centro Boliviano Americano has the mission to serve the Bolivian society through the development of educational, cultural, and academic activities that promote ethical values and social responsibility. Recognizing that more and more students have access to technology, teachers at the Binational Center utilize Quizlet, an online platform that allows teachers different options in creating quizzes. A free service, Quizlet gives teachers the ability to create, administer, and even grade quizzes all online. With Quizlet, students can easily access and complete quizzes on their laptops or cell phones. Teachers are then able to monitor student performance and share this information with other teachers. It's a great tool to help teachers continually assess their students. So by a show of hands, raise your hand. Have you ever asked students to participate in quizzes or homework by using their cell phones? You can raise your hand or contribute to the chat box. We have a lot of yeses. We have some folks who are even using Quizlet. Take advantage of the technology that your students have. Fantastic. We're going to move on to Pakistan. Orchard Grammar School is a 14-year-old school serving 1,280 students. The school has programs for primary, secondary, and students preparing for the Cambridge International Examination. In providing the best quality of education, the school's goal is to build in their students a sense of self-esteem, confidence, initiative, motivation, and teamwork. Students at Orchard Grammar School focus on complex problems through project-based learning. We had talked about that before. The teacher's role is that of coach and facilitator, helping to guide students to solve problems on their own. Use of multimedia presentations and tactile-based learning allows students to physically interact with objects in the real world to understand how they work. For example, in the picture that you see, you can see a learning station set up entirely dedicated to wildlife and village life. Students from a young age group are then brought here and interact through touching these objects. These objects are often created by the teachers. The students leave having a better understanding of the material and the content. Argentina, you are up! Americana is a binational center dedicated to providing high-quality instruction in English and to promoting mutual cultural understanding between the U.S. and Argentina. Amikana is a 59-year-old organization with 52 teachers and 2,500 students. The school is known for using cutting-edge technology to teach, communicate, inform, promote cultural activities, and to create a fun environment in which learning will take place and to stimulate, yes, creativity. The school utilizes many different online platforms. For teachers working with adolescents or adults, use of the educational platform Edmodo is used. Through Edmodo, teachers are able to easily and safely collaborate with students, parents, and other teachers. For teachers working with young learners, Glogster EDU is an online platform that allows students to express ideas in their creation of interactive multimedia posters. The school also employs many school-wide contests. Previous competitions have included a library scavenger hunt, you see that on the right, where students use their cell phones to become more familiar with different library resources available to them. What a great idea. The school also organizes several school-wide contests, including riddle and tongue twister contests and writing competitions, with the latter using the educational platform Storybird. All right, let's go to it. Let's go to the chat box. What other kinds of competitions have you done in your school? This school did tongue twisters and riddles. What other competitions do your students do? Spelling bees, yes, Jeopardy, storytelling, an Instagram competition. Oh, I see Storybird coming up. Quizzes, debates. Role plays, what a great one. Word games. Gosh, this is exciting. Woo. Keep it coming, and again, share these ideas on our Ning discussion board. Next, Slaveko Arsov is a primary school located in Stip, Macedonia. The school, now 15 years in operation, serves 460 students. Teacher Kiro Horenov wants to make learning English a fun experience, and don't we all? He utilizes a series of funny and engaging grammar videos from YouTube. Each video, no more than 7 minutes in length, emphasizes a specific grammar point. For example, present continuous. Students then complete exercises using that specific grammar point within a specific context. As a supplement to the lesson, students act out some of the scenes. Teacher Kiro notes that incorporating video contributes to a more motivated classroom, and you can see that on the right, where everyone wants to participate. He says that in the future, he plans to produce some videos from these activities and then post them on the internet. Let's head back to the chat box, folks. Are there any other videos or podcast series that you like to incorporate into your instruction? TED Talks, I'm seeing TED Talks. Movie segments. Oh, VoiceTube, I'm not familiar with that one. You'll have to share that on our discussion board. TED Talks seems to be a big one. Comics, cartoons, scenes from movies. Voice of America. Fantastic, wow. Yes, technology truly can be your friend as a teacher in this day and age. We now go to the jungles of the Peruvian Amazon. The Binational Center of Tarapoto, Peru, is a civil, private, cultural, educational, and nonprofit association. Established in 2003, it is one of only a handful of language institutions in the San Martin region which provides English language instruction and ongoing training and support for teachers in the region with support from the U.S. Embassy. The school launched its first Access Micro-Scholarship program in 2012. In addition to learning English, engaging in cultural activities, and becoming more involved in community service, these students participated in a 3-day overnight camp where they learned English through different thematic and academic-based activities. Wanting to share the experience from this camp with a more global audience, Access student Carlos, only 15 years old, co-participated in a webinar with the English Language Fellow. This gave him an opportunity to share how the experience truly changed his life and how it contributed to his own deeper understanding. Teacher Tony Paredes, on your right, was one of the designers of the camp curriculum and was able to share his experiences in organizing and developing the camp curriculum. Along with the English Language Fellow, Tony shared his experiences at International TESOL in Portland, Oregon in 2014. Quite the opportunity for him. So by a show of hands, raise your hand. How many of you have either presented at a conference or hosted a webinar? I see Galina, you worked in the Access program, fantastic. Saida, you went to Portland, Oregon. Even if you just present once, this is great. So take the opportunities, find opportunities. Where can I present? Where can I present my information? Oh, I see it. Uyanga presented at a Tefl conference. Who's serving as a translator? Great. We're going to move on to Senegal. In Senegal, Cour Mariabel High School is a public school located in the rural Kaolack region, serving 1,000 students in grades 1 to 6. Teacher Usami Toure employs communicative vocabulary activities to support classroom instruction. After conducting a vocabulary lesson in class, the teacher presents the students with 3 different outside of class activities that support and expand upon students' learning. Each activity builds upon one another, allowing students to use the newly learned vocabulary in different and meaningful ways. As you can see in this unit, the teacher gets students to think about the issues of smoking through writing, researching, and completing projects. Here you can see the project was designing a poster outlining the dangers of smoking. It's a great way to extend learning beyond the school walls, and simple and effective. Our last submission comes from teacher Anka, a public high school teacher as well as an Access Micro-Scholarship teacher. Working in partnership with the Bacau County Teacher Training Center, Ms. Anka designs interactive educational activities to help students develop fluency and communication strategies in English while addressing American culture. The activities seek to expose students to the target language in real context and to prepare students for effective communication with native and non-native speakers of English. It is through utilizing the American Corner Center that teacher Anka has been able to teach many interesting topics. These include women's struggle for equality, the universal right to vote, multiculturalism, including discussions on the African American, Native American, and Chicano experience, democracy and human rights in the US, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. As teacher Anka says, These experiences have a multiplier effect on mutual understanding. The students have a more favorable view of the American people and in turn, share their Access program experiences with their family and peers. So let's head back to the chat box, everybody. What other interesting cultural topics could you introduce in your classes? Oh, I'm seeing some entries about social class, women and minorities, food. You could do same-sex marriage. That is an interesting topic right now. Green issues, grocery shopping, poverty, festivals. My gosh, you're typing too fast. Freedom, tolerance, dramas, food, fashion, corruption, culture and holidays, English clubs. Wow. The ideas that you were bringing forth, incredible. So to review, how can we share what we learn? And feel free to enter into the text box. So, apply new information learned to your own teaching. This is one of the best ways that we can share what we've learned. We've seen how folks have been able to present at local and regional conferences, doing workshops or poster presentations. You can even host your own webinar. Go to department meetings. Talk with your colleagues. You might also consider publishing what you learn on a blog, a wiki, within social media on Facebook, or Forum magazine. Truly, the possibilities for sharing are endless. So here are some factors that will increase our opportunities to share. So right now, we are in a fantastic network of like-minded professionals. Continue to develop these networks who are passionate about learning and sharing. I guarantee you, just looking at all the ideas today, wow. Also, determine times when sharing can occur. Yes, time is a big factor in this. And we'll talk about, in the next slide, some ways that we can coordinate times so that the maximum amount of people can share. Realize that learning and sharing is about improving your classroom practice. It is all about attitude towards sharing. Be open to it. Do it. Try it out. Experiment. And then share those practical ideas that have worked in your classroom. If you got a good idea, share it. If it's worked, if it has contributed to the motivation in your students, share it. And lastly, gain knowledge and expertise in an area. The more you know in a subject, the more likely you will share it. So absolutely, take advantage of every training you can. Go to all of the regional and countrywide conferences. Gain some expertise and then bring it back. So here is a note. Many of you I know are leaders in the area of education, and here are some ideas for building an educational culture that promotes sharing. Number one, identify teachers who colleagues can go to for help. Who are the leaders in your school? Let them help others. Along with this, provide teachers with opportunities to gain expertise. Allow teachers to go to trainings, to go to conferences, to gain expertise, but then hold them accountable for sharing that information with other colleagues. We talked about timing. Time is of the essence, and we need to make time to share best practices. So allot specific times at your school for open forums where teachers can share, demonstrations. Allow for times when small group planning can occur, where teachers can also share sessions, share lesson plans. So we've seen the benefits of sharing today. We've seen so many examples of sharing in action. So to conclude, a challenge for you. And I hope you will seriously consider taking part in this challenge. So we've thrown up a poll. Within the next month, will you promise to share something that you have learned, either from today's webinar or from something that you have learned in the practice? Will you promise? I like the numbers I'm seeing. So glad to see so many of you who are committed to sharing. Now, if you already have an idea or a resource right now, be sure to post it on our Ning discussion board following this webinar. So many of you have already contributed to the Ning discussion board, and I will be monitoring it throughout the next couple weeks. As we move forward in our efforts to share, I think this quote from the Dalai Lama is a nice way to end our webinar. He says, "Share your knowledge. It is a way to achieve immortality." Indeed, I think when you share, those ideas do live on forever. So please share on. I strongly urge you to access these two resources, which were used to develop much of the content in this webinar. You will also find links to these documents, as well as many of the resources that have been shared today on our discussion board in the Ning. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for viewing today's webinar. I think it was very enriching, and I hope it was helpful to you. I'd especially like to thank all of you who shared submissions with us. Without you, we wouldn't have possibly been able to put this webinar together. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And lastly, I'd like to thank the amazing staff at the U.S. State Department, led by moderator Katie Bain, who continues to work behind the scenes to ensure that these kinds of opportunities are available to you. Please continue to support these efforts by attending future webinars and invite others to join. Our next webinar will be in November. I hope to see you there. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Ryan, for inspiring us to share what we do in the classroom through teacher collaboration and exchange of ideas. And thank you so much, all who submitted materials for today's session and who were featured here today. Congratulations on a job well done, and we hope you'll continue to share your experience